Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the updated edition of the Mystery Ranch Rip Ruck. This is now available in a couple of different sizes. The one that I have here is 24 liters, and I used a previous edition of this a couple of years ago on the channel, and I thought it was a really functional and interesting everyday carry backpack, so great to see Mystery Ranch iterating on the design, but keeping it around. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, to me the Rip Ruck has a pretty unique appearance compared to many of the other EDC bags that I look at on the channel. The silhouette and the style are just an interesting mixture of kind of an old school military rucksack style bag that's been modernized, so it still has kind of a sleeker vibe. And you know, it's a functional bag. It's got webbing on the outside, plenty of pockets. It's not a minimal bag by any means, but still something that I would be comfortable taking into a variety of environments. This feels like a great travel bag, something that I could use for commuting around the city. It's not maybe my favorite appearance to take into the office, but it doesn't feel overwhelmingly tactical, and definitely something that I could see myself taking into the outdoors. As far as the materials, the bag feels pretty solidly built. This exterior fabric is a 330D Robic nylon that feels a little bit different than some of the 500D nylon fabrics that I'm used to seeing on Mystery Ranch's bags. This doesn't feel quite as rugged or thick. It is lighter. The bag comes in at just over 2 pounds, which is really nice for a bag of this size and with all the pockets that it does offer. The nylon also feels a little bit different than the one that I've grown accustomed to on the GoRuck Ripstop line of bags. It just doesn't feel quite the same. So, you know, I'll be keeping an eye on the durability of this over the longer term, but so far it's still felt solid enough. It's going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance. And then throughout the rest of the bag, the webbing itself uses a very rugged 840D nylon, I believe. And then, you know, typical really nice Mystery Ranch hardware, buckles, and YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, one of the interesting things with the evolution of the Rip Ruck line, now that they have a couple of different sizes, is that the pocket layouts are slightly different. So with the 24-liter version, you don't have external water bottle pockets in the way that the 20-liter version of this bag has, which I was a little bit sad to see, but you know, you do get the extra zippered pockets that we'll take a look at in a little bit. So, you know, depending on your organizational preferences, that could be a pro or a con, but just wanted to call out that it is different and something that you'll want to keep an eye on depending on which model of the bag you're going for. On the front, you have a row of laser cut webbing, which is going to be great for attaching any items that you need to with a carabiner. You know, great for a bike light. This is the type of thing where I would normally clip on my hand sanitizer or maybe my headphones if I was traveling and I wanted to access them quickly. And so you just have one row there, keeping things pretty simple so that the bag doesn't get overly tactical. And then you have the large hook and loop area here with the Mystery Ranch logo that you can also personalize with a variety of patches if you want to. And at the top, you have a pretty nice handle that will allow you to pick the bag up off the ground. It's got a durable feeling webbing here, not super padded or anything like that, but you know, gets the job done. And then the last thing I'll mention on the exterior is that the bag does an okay job of standing up on its own. It kind of depends on how full it is. Its structure isn't super rigid, so I've noticed that it can tip over depending on how the weight is distributed, but when it is loaded out, I have been able to place it down next to me and access the compartments when I need to. As far as the capacity, the version of the bag that I have here is the 24-liter size. It is available in 15, 18, and 32 liters, I believe. So multiple different versions, but to me, 24 liters, as I've mentioned in many other videos, is kind of a sweet spot for me as far as offering, you know, more than enough space for the items that I typically want to carry with me without feeling overwhelmingly bulky. It's something that, you know, is just very versatile. It works for multiple use cases. And, you know, this is a bag that it's never going to look super bulky, even when it's a little bit more packed out. So it's going to be great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, carrying on to a variety of domestic or international airlines, and going on a hike. Moving into the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I like how the straps have been implemented here. It's a different style than many of the other Mystery Ranch bags that I've used, so the foam feels very soft, almost gel-like. These straps remind me a little bit of the edgeless straps from Tom Bin, so you know, it's just a very nice material on the inside. They also have a good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. And then on the straps, you also have an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. Taking a look at the back paneling, this has also been pretty comfortable, but the padding here is not as robust as what was on the strap, so that would have been nice to see here. There is some padding distributed all throughout the back. You have some cutouts here to give you a little bit of airflow and some reinforced padding here at the bottom in the lower back area. So depending on how you adjust the bag, you want to make sure to kind of tweak that so that it sits just right, but it does feel nice once it's positioned. But in general, the style here feels quite different from other Mystery Ranch bags that I've used. I really like that they had the air mesh on many of their previous bags. As I live in a hotter climate, I want to have that extra breathability. And then the other notable difference here is that you don't have a rigid frame sheet like Mystery Ranch's bags typically do, which gives them that extra support, helps with the laptop compartment. So I was a little bit surprised to see that that wasn't part of this bag. If I didn't have my laptop in here, I could almost bend this in half because there's just not a lot of structure, which I'm guessing helps with the weight. Maybe some people don't like how it feels, but for me, I still prefer the older Mystery Ranch harnesses. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag has a pretty interesting layout. As the name implies, these outer compartments are designed so that you can rip them open to quickly access whatever you need. That was one of the things that I enjoyed about the previous edition of the bag, is it can be quite satisfying to really pull these zippers up, and it works pretty well. You have the two front pockets with that same system. This has been updated from the version of the Rip Ruck that I used, which was a couple iterations back where it still had buckles. So now you have these loops here that you can use. You can either pull it up by the flap, and then you can pull it back down. That was one of the issues I had with the version that I used, was the fact that I could open it, but I could never kind of properly secure the bag. So it's cool that you have a better system here. Pull it back down, or if you leave this on top, I found that you can kind of open it, but you can kind of play around with that. Pulling on the flap seems to be the easiest way that allows you to open it up, and then you can close it with this system. So again, very unique, definitely not going to be for everybody, but I like that it's just different from some of the other bags that I use. And so you have these two compartments. They have pretty similar amount of space. I like that they have good volume, so they'll expand outwardly to allow you to store something a little bit bulkier. I have my sunglasses in one of them. And this is something that you could use as a water bottle pocket. I have a 20-ounce water bottle here, and I can kind of store it there. It's not an ideal water bottle area because it's a little shallow and I can't close the pocket, but in a pinch, you can store it there, walk around, especially if it's something smaller, also for an umbrella. And then on the inside, you have some slip pockets that are going to be good for any smaller items. I didn't have anything in these because I had my sunglasses there, but this is a good spot for maybe a mouse, portable battery, and then next to that, there's a smaller slot where I currently have a flashlight. And then on the other side, I use this to store my USB-C hub, pretty much my laptop and charger for all other devices. I also have a retractable USB-C cable that I've been trying out recently, and so those fit in there comfortably. And then on the back here, you have the same layout with the slip pocket that's got a good amount of space, not elastic, but we'll be able to handle a Magic Mouse very easily. And then next to that, another small slot, which is wide enough for not only a pen or a stylus, but also for a pocket knife or a flashlight, as I had on the other side. On the back of the bag, you have a dedicated laptop compartment with a well-protected zipper. This doesn't have the rip style opening, which I think works well for the laptop area. I like that it's more protected. And on the inside here, you have a good amount of space. There is a sleeve that's incorporated here, which was an interesting size. It seems to be designed to be used for a smaller tablet. I currently have my Kindle in there, and it slides in perfectly. Might be something that could fit some keyboards, maybe a smaller gaming device. My iPad mini with its case didn't quite fit in here. I'm imagining without the case, I could probably slide it in. This is just kind of a simple sleeve, not necessarily a padded slip pocket, but it is, a good amount of space. And then behind that, you have the padded laptop area. I like that this sleeve is a little bit thicker than the one for the tablet in front of it. And it's also pulled up off the bottom of the ground, so you can drop your laptop in. It's not making contact with the ground now. One thing to note is that because the bag doesn't have like a super rigid structure, if it's emptier, there's sometimes the possibility that this could come up and make some sort of contact. So that's something that I've noticed with bags that don't have the rigidity to help maintain that distance from the ground. But the sleeve itself is pulled up, and because I have the bag loaded, it works well. And so this should be able to hold a 15 or 16 inch laptop comfortably. Currently I have my 14-inch MacBook Pro. You can see there's some leftover space, and so pulling my device out. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. No fleece lining or anything like that, and you can start to see the lack of the frame sheet here. But you know, this comes up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker laptop or you want to use your case with the device to keep it a little bit more protected, you can do so. But you know, with the padding that's added here, the fact that it's pulled up, it still feels like my device is going to be pretty safe while I'm on the go. The last area that we're going to be taking a look at is the main compartment. This also has that quick rip opening style, and you know, that's going to be a big aspect of the bag. Whether you like that or not is really going to make or break whether this is for you. And so this one doesn't have the system to close it in the same way that the other ones did, which would have been nice to see, but it does have magnets. So once you actually pull this open, and it does work very smoothly, which is nice. With something like this, if it gets stuck or things like that, that would be annoying, but hasn't been the case at all here. When I pull these open, you know, they do a good job. And so if I zip this back up, you can open it up, and then you have the magnets here. You can see them, so if you don't want to zip it up, it'll still stay closed. The magnets aren't quite as strong as I would like to see. You know, if you don't want to zip it up, and if this is a little bit fuller, I could see this start to maybe open up. But you know, it's nice that you have something there to kind of just be able to rest this if you don't want to go through the motions of zipping it. But it might have been good to include a similar system to here just to quickly secure it. Regardless, very quick access to the main area. I'll never get tired of pulling this open dramatically when I place the bag down. And then on the inside, you have a fairly simple layout. It's pretty open, so it'll be able to handle my typical loadout here that's a little more modular. So I have my Beat Studio wireless headphones. I have a packable rain jacket. I have my drone with its hard shell case, just a little bulkier, so I like to place that in there. And then down at the bottom, I have a couple of pouches. So I have the Alpaca admin pouch, and then the Civic Access pouch, 2 liters. All of those things fit in there pretty comfortably. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. This comes up, as I said, a decent amount, so it'll be able to handle not only bulkier items, but if I wanted to use this for minimal travel, I could toss in my larger compressible packing cube, a dock kit, an extra pair of shoes, and I'd be able to use this for a weekend trip. And then on the inside here, you do have an additional mesh zippered pocket. So it'll be another good spot for any smaller items that you don't want floating around at the bottom. You can actually see into this compartment because of the mesh, even though it's slightly dark. And there is a divider here, so this is actually split into 2 sides. So you know, you don't have just a large open area, which could be nice to just segment things out. So on the left side, I just have a cable that's meant to pair with that USB-C hub to give it a little bit more length. And then on the other side, I had my Field Notes notebook. And that's just more because I don't really like to place super bulky items in these type of pockets because it creates bulges that make it harder for my packing style. But you know, it works pretty well. And then on the back, you have one additional taller slip pocket, which should be able to handle a variety of tablets. If you want to place one of your larger tablets in here, 10 or 11 inches, it's going to be able to do so. This isn't a padded sleeve, but it is pulled up off the bottom of the ground, so it'll give you some extra kind of peace of mind there. At the moment, the only thing that I have in this section is the Ted Lasso book that I've been reading. And so pretty simple layout in this main area overall, but I like the amount of space that's offered, and then just the uniqueness of the pocket layout and how this system works. You know, it helps it stand out amongst many of the other options. It's not going to be something that's for everybody, and it takes some getting used to, but you know, for various use cases, I could see it being, you know, really useful. And you know, it's an interesting alternative in Mystery Ranch's lineup. As somebody who's used many of their bags, I love Mystery Ranch bags in general. You know, there's probably others that I will gravitate towards more, and I'll talk about that in the alternatives section. But you know, if you're looking for something a little bit different that's still going to offer a nice amount of space, an area for your laptop, comfortable straps, and it's going to be a little more lightweight, and it's going to be an interesting option to consider. And so to wrap up, it's been a really good experience testing out the Mystery Ranch Rip Ruck over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase this on the company site for around $170 for the 24-liter version that I featured in this video. The pricing is going to vary a little bit depending on the size that you go with. And in general, this feels pretty much in line with many of the other bags in Mystery Ranch's lineup as far as that pricing. And it's great that you can still find an everyday carry backpack for under $200 nowadays, which is becoming more rare. And it does feel like you get a nice feature set and value out of this bag. I would have liked to have seen the price point maybe a little bit lower, given some of the fabric choices that were used. But still really versatile bag, and it feels like it's going to compare pretty well against some of the other items in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, the first bag this made me think of is the Mystery Ranch Catalyst 26 pack, which is probably my favorite bag in their lineup at this time. Just really love the size and layout of that one. It has Mystery Ranch's tri-zip opening, so you can use it as a top loader. You can open it up, grab whatever you need. It's got the dual external water bottle pockets, a dedicated and well-padded laptop compartment. Pretty nice internal layout as well, with a couple of pockets for organizing your stuff. A comfortable harness system. It's got the load lifters, very nice frame sheet, and the overall build quality of that one feels a little bit more solid than this one here. So if you're a fan of Mystery Ranch's bags and you're looking for something with that really versatile layout that's also offered in a couple of different sizes, then that's going to be an excellent option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the 511 Rush 12, which has been a really popular EDC bag for many years now. Really versatile. It's got a more tactical appearance than this one. Lots of MOLLE webbing all around the exterior. Good pocket layout, pretty comfortable harness system. It has a padded and suspended laptop sleeve that's integrated into the main area. It's not a dedicated sleeve like this one here. The build quality on that one feels pretty solid. And so it's just a really great kind of all-purpose bag. The 24-liter size is comparable to this one. It has a clamshell style opening. So if you prefer that type of a layout, or you just want something with a more tactical vibe, then that's gonna be a great option to keep in mind. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Patagonia Black Hole Pack. That's offered in two different sizes. The 25-liter in particularly felt close to this one as far as the sizing. That's a top-loading bag as well, so you can really just place a lot of stuff into that main area. It has a padded, slightly suspended laptop sleeve, so it will keep your device protected. The harness system on that is going to be pretty comfortable, breathable. It's got the dual external water bottle pockets, a couple of quick access pockets, some webbing along the front, so it's got a little bit more of that technical outdoorsy vibe. Has weather resistant, durable materials. It has a luggage pass-through with the latest additions. So, really functional, versatile, kind of all-purpose bag. And if you're looking for something with a slightly different style and layout, but that still can go into a lot of different environments, that's going to be a great option to take a look at. With that being said, the Mystery Ranch Rip Ruck holds up pretty well against all those options, and if you're looking for a really functional everyday carry backpack with a unique layout that's going to offer a nice amount of space, comfort, and that's going to help keep your laptop protected, this is going to be a really interesting option to check out. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the updated edition of the Rip Ruck and how it compares to some of the other popular EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.